But nonetheless, this is my first OECS meeting that I've been attending. I've attended since I became Prime Minister. When I think of the words and the state of the world that we're in today, it reminds me of a story that when I was about 18 years of age, I happened to be in my comrade's country in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My father was in the shipping business, and I was in an agent's office. And he had a plaque on the wall. And the plaque said, "Worrying is like being on a rocking chair. It keeps you busy, but it gets you nowhere." And those words have echoed throughout my life. And how I interpret that is that you must apply your energy and your focus on the things that you can change. The things you cannot change, you have to leave that to the Lord and have faith in Him. But the things that you can change, these are the things that you must be able to focus on. And these trying times, this new normal that we're living in, require more than ever that we no longer practice the ostrich syndrome of sticking our heads in a hole and thinking that the problems are going to go away. We have to confront them head on. The state of our own economies, which are depriving the citizens of our countries of the lifestyle and the services they so richly deserve. Are we satisfied that all the citizens of the OECS enjoy a world-class education? Are we satisfied that they all have access to proper health care? Are we all satisfied that they all can live in safety? Are we all satisfied that they have every opportunity for economic prosperity that they so richly deserve? And unfortunately, I know in my country, I can't say that. And so therefore, there is a tremendous amount of work to be done. Debt, which is strangling our countries, which is money that's going out to pay for interest, which could otherwise go into our education system, into after-school programs, into the infrastructure of our country, is leaking out of our region. And in fact, what we're running is an unsustainable government. So the question is, what are we going to do about that? We talk about economic growth. And unfortunately, since the recession, many of our countries have struggled with consistent economic growth. And unfortunately, if we don't bring back economic growth to this region, then it's going to make it much more difficult to be able to implement so many of the things that we want to do. So that is the role of the OECS. So from a St. Lucia perspective, when I come to these meetings, I come with the expectation that the OECS, through functional cooperation, can help relieve some of these problems. Because as a small state, the percentage of the money that we're paying towards salaries and towards the bureaucracy of our own governments suggests that we have to have functional cooperation. The question is, why have we not had it? And so we come here with a fresh hope and aspirations that we could make some difficult decisions. Decisions in which allow us to have a better government and to be able to reduce the amount of monies that we're spending on our own national governments and share in those responsibilities. Crime. Every country is lamenting the state of crime. Why is it that we cannot have a common police force? Why can't we take the best that we have and have them become the OECS? Why don't we have a singular forensic lab? Why don't we have a singular database system? Area of education. We still don't have common curriculums. What are we doing to work together to make our education system more effective? I know in my country, we lament the fact that the education system has failed our economy because we're not educating our kids to be functionally operative within our economies. How do we know that? They can't get jobs. We're not seeing innovation. We're not seeing any level of entrepreneurship. Healthcare. In my country, we cannot afford the current system of healthcare that we have. It's not delivering what we're supposed to be. And we believe that we need to go to a healthcare insurance. How much more advanced would this region be if we could collaborate and obtain a singular healthcare insurance program? So instead of having 67,000 people from St. Lucia, you could potentially have as much as 600,000 people from the OECS. And how much better off would we be? And this idea of health excellence, meaning that each of the countries are going to have an area of excellence that they're going to provide. If you have now a singular insurance provider, that is a way of ensuring that we have the level of integration in this area. Foreign affairs. Can we continue to afford to have our own embassies all over the world? And while I appreciate and respect the need to have our own individuality, maybe through the ambassador, but can we have now functional cooperation within the office where the research officers and the technical officers are on a shared basis? Aviation. I've spoken for many years and very loudly as to what my personal feelings are about aviation. But the fact is that when we look at the reports, the number of people traveling within this region has shrunk. Just in speaking to some of the people who've attended the meeting here today, who've come from not so far abroad as just within the OECS, the difficulty that they had getting here. But we have to be able to tackle this problem because we are not truly going to have integration until it is cheaper and more affordable and easier to be able to access each other. The last one point I want to make is I believe that the OECS can play a significant leadership role when it comes to the SIDS. Climate change demands that the SIDS form a unified force in this world. It is very unfair what is taking place in that we cannot control our destiny as it pertains to climate change. Even if the OECS countries and even if the 51 SIDS around the world were to change their lifestyles and become the most pristine destinations in the world, we still could not be in control of our own destiny. What is required is adaptation, that the infrastructure of our region has to be enhanced in order to be able to deal with the current climate changes. No longer do we need a hurricane to cause irreparable damage to our economies. It simply has to be a trough. So the idea of having to spend money in strengthening the existing road networks and infrastructure that we have, which is not in itself going to produce any capacity changes, is not going to make us any more competitive. All it will deal with is sustainability. And that when you ask small countries that are already heavily indebted to be able to do that, it becomes an impossible task. And so therefore, I believe there's a huge role that the OECS has to play, because they say, who feels it, knows it. And I can be assured, all over here today, that we do feel it. So I very much look forward to working with my colleague Prime Ministers and with the OECS Secretariat in dealing with the challenges that we have going forward. Thank you very much.